because these are all rappers that I admire and listen to. So I'm like, all right, they're coming to campus. Because I had this background in music and entertainment, I knew the process to reach out to these people and to set up an interview. So that's what I did. And I had so much access. I went over to D3 TV, got a camera, brought it over. I had a sit-down 30-minute interview with Big Sean, and it was one of the top-rated videos on my YouTube channel. And of course, I'm the only one with the camera and everything, and I literally recruited one of my friends. I'm like, you have to come and help me record this video. She's like, I don't know how to work a camera. I'm like, just hit this button and just make sure the red light is there in the corner, and then that's it. And make sure my head is not cut off. So get to work. No one gave me an assignment to do that. I just thought, okay, this person's coming to campus. Let me see if I can get access to them. Sometimes you're lucky to have a professor that will push you to do that too, right? So I was a communications major. I had Professor McCall, and he gave us an assignment to do a radio documentary. He encouraged us, or he made us, submit it to the Associated Press, and my group project actually ended up winning. And so to this day, I still have in my bio that I won an award from the Associated Press. I won that award as a student at DePaul for doing a class project. If you have a podcast, think about how you can extend the reach of that podcast. Create, if you have a radio show, essentially, you can turn that into a podcast to extend your reach, to do the things that you love on campus and amplify it into the world in order to build a name for yourself, build credibility, build relationships. And also, DePaul has all these great breaks, right? When you go home, see your friends, see your family. But also, touch base with that supervisor. Touch base with, people in your community, or maybe one of your friends' parents works at a company that you might be interested in. Use those breaks and that time back home to keep those connections going. This is like a picture of me during my first internship, and like right before I came to DePaul. I worked in the newsroom at NBC. So it just really goes to show you, like, you're never too early to get started, and just get to work and the opportunities will come. A lot of times too, you'll go into the working world and you were on campus, you were a hot shot, you were like the president of an organization, maybe you started your own organization. But when you get into the professional world, someone asks you to make copies of something. And you're like, I did not just put in all this work, I'm so smart, I got this internship, why are they making me make photocopies? You're going to be asked to do very minuscule, mundane work when you get into the professional world. Make copies, fill gift bags, all these things that you're like, what is going on? But utilize those as learning opportunities. And so when you're doing those little mundane, minuscule tasks, what happens is people ignore you, they pretend like you're not even there, right? That gives you the opportunity to be the fly on the wall and take stock and look around to see, how does this place work? Where can I fit in and add value so that I become irreplaceable, undeniable, they won't be able to function without me? Look for those little moments and opportunities, because again, it's not going to be in the orientation book. It's not going to be in your requirements for the job listing. It's going to be through those observational moments that you get to really take advantage of when you're an intern. I remember I often had to transcribe interviews for reporters, which is like listening to the same thing over and over again so I can type it out and hand it over to the reporter. But I used that experience to really dive deep into, how do reporters really get the answers that they need? How are they setting up their questions to get the answer out of someone, to get them to open up? You get to see the raw and unedited behind the scenes through doing those little mundane tasks. And then someone is always watching you. And so you need to do your best, even when it's the little tasks. You never really know. I always like to say, think about the person that you really love and admire, that you would love to have coffee with, and pretend like they're always watching you. And that's the level that you should perform at all times. One example I like to give with this in particular is something that happened to me like a couple years ago. I remember, so I'm from New York, and in New York, the #1 station for hip hop is Hot 97. So I started to get all of these text messages out the blue, like, hey, congratulations, we heard you on Hot 97. And I'm like, what? I have not been to Hot 97. I would know if I went to do an interview. I'm like, they must be confused. But then it kept coming, these text messages. I'm like, all right, I have to get to the bottom of this. So I asked someone, what time was it when you heard this? And they gave me like the approximate time. I called Hot 97 and I'm like, can you give me an air check for this time? An air check is like when you call up a station and you just get an MP3 clip essentially of what was played on air. So I did that, and when they sent it to me, this is what I heard.
7, let's go.
Making Black history behind the scenes.
Ronisha Bing is a contributor for the Huffington Post and founder of heragenda.com, a site that serves as an information and inspiration hub for millennial women, which was named one of Forbes' top 100 sites for women. She's been dubbed a tech tastemaker and lives by the philosophy behind the acronym NISHA. No one ever slows her agenda.
Hot 97, celebrating Black History Month.
So